What if you have him on tape at a BP, crystal clear, wearing distinctive clothes, and he's not denying he's there? Would you make sure that you watch the surveillance video of the killing pretty darn carefully?
Yes, among other things.
You wouldn't just ask someone that works for a business with no law enforcement training, hey, tell me what seems to be going on your videotape that you have, would you? You would want to watch it for yourself, wouldn't you?
Yes.
You'd want to watch it several times for yourself, wouldn't you?
Probably, yes.
You'd want to look for details that are important in that videotape, wouldn't you?
Yes.
You can still open up the door even though you have tints on the window.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought they said earlier in other days that he shot from inside the vehicle. Day 159 of the YSL RICO trial was interesting. A detective who worked on the SHYMEL drinks murder testifies on what was found at the trap house on Waters Road. Shannon's ex-girlfriend testifies, and Miss Hilton contradicts her own theory towards the end of the video. The state is trying to confuse the jury. That's what it seems like. At one point they were saying he shot SHYMEL drinks from inside the vehicle because there's no shell casings found, so it has to be inside the vehicle. SHARDT points out that if he rolled down the window, it would mess up the tint he did hours before, but then now she's saying he opened the door. Which one is it? I'm confused. You'll see. Hit subscribe. Here we go. Shannon got the green suit on today.
Our stance is that the plea itself should not even be in evidence. Not even a limiting instruction wouldn't even be the issue. It just shouldn't be in. Same with Mr. Nichols. Although
Now that they are not.
Mr. Winfrey never was sitting with us, so that our stance is that should have never been. But Mr. Nichols,
He has come in, though, to sort of explain some of his testimony.
no, he never testified. We were arguing that it was a controversial day because, from our vantage point, the state was trying to suggest that Mr. Winfrey took a plea because of promises of a car or different things. Mr. Steele at the time was rightfully pointing out that plea was not. The Supreme Court later found that plea was not voluntarily given.
Right? Didn't that come into evidence?
No, we were not allowed to get into that at all.
The fact that it had been reversed and that he then entered an Alford plea instead of a guilty plea, right? That came in. That information came in, right?
The information that he had to take the plea a second time came in. I don't think the reasoning came in.
So clearly the state wants all these pleas in there to be shown to the jury. Well, specifically, it sounds like what Jimmy Winfrey and Quamervius Nichols pled out to previously. Defense lawyers have an issue with that. I'm sure the judge is going to let it in either way.
Grayish looking vehicle with defects all around the driver's side, the rear, and the passenger side, with a deceased male sitting in the passenger seat, front passenger seat. So
she's testifying about the murder of Christian McMiller and Darius Ford. Their car was shot on the highway underneath like an underpass. It was a Kia Stinger, which is a car I actually used to have, which is weird.
Was there anything sitting on top of or around the car?
There was a handgun sitting on the roof of the vehicle.
On what side of the vehicle?
The driver's side.
And you said there was a passenger still seated in the car. Were they alive or deceased?
They were deceased.
Did you find any weapons on that individual?
He had a handgun in his waistline area.
So there's a Stinger.
11 VV and 12 VV. What were you depicting in those 3 pictures?
The defects in the vehicle.
All right, Max Shard up for cross with the crime scene tech.
Who were the victims in that case?
For my report, I only have one listed, and that was the driver.
And the driver, what was the driver's name?
Christian McMiller.
Okay. All right. And your understanding is 2 people were shot and ultimately died in that case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know if anyone has been arrested for that case?
No.
No, you don't know, or no one has?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
This is former Detective Leon Packer, which is the worst name ever. He works at FBI now.
Which is one of the many tools that we use to dump cell phones, or at least...
Oh, he has experience with the whole cell phone bullshit, so they're going to try to get some of that in front of the jury.
Probably into over 1,000 devices.
Is 2 of the phones that investigator Vic Burrito asked you to extract pertaining to Shannon Jackson or Shannon Stillwell, were you able, did investigator Vic Burrito have a passcode for those?
Yes.
And roughly, was it in December of 2022 when you conducted the extraction on those 2 phones?
Yes. If I go into my iPhone and I go to Google and I type in a search, then I would see the URL or the web address of what that search term result is. That's the page that Google will navigate to, that my phone will navigate to. And in that URL, you'll see an indication that this may have been a Google search. You'll see some indication of what the search terms were. If there's multiple search terms like Kevin Leon Packer Court, then you may see Kevin plus Leon Packer plus Court. And what that means is that the phone navigated to that page that may have those results from Google. If someone were to send a link of search results, which I don't think I've ever seen someone send a link of Google search results, but that would have the same web address. So whether someone types in the search term or navigates to the page that resulted in those search terms, because someone, say, texted them a link, then you would still navigate to the Google page that has the results for those search terms.
60% of you aren't subscribed. Come on, hit the subscribe bell.
Within APD that were there for the search?
Yes.
What were some of those units?
The SWAT team, our intelligence unit, I think some gang unit investigators, and myself and I believe my sergeant and our homicide unit, Ray Layton, were there, and our crime scene technician.
Had SWAT already cleared the residence by the time that you started searching?
Yes.
Was there a Audi that you see in this clip when you got there?
Yes.
Oh, so this is where they found the Audi, the rental, with the tinted windows and everything?
Do you typically try to capture the VIN number of vehicles that are on scenes?
Usually.
Can you tell the jury how were law enforcement officers able to get in this Audi vehicle?
You can see on the left there at the door, there's a coat hanger. The window was ajar, and investigators used a coat hanger to tug on the door handle to open the vehicle and access the interior of it.
Was there a firearm in that car?
Yes, on the passenger floorboard, protruding up into there's me. The passenger floorboard, the firearm was laying down on the floorboard and leaning against the passenger seat.
Is that a picture of the firearm in the passenger seat where you found it?
Yes. This was a Ruger AR-556. What I found was this firearm was reported stolen while in transit from a Ruger manufacturer in North Carolina while it was en route, I believe via UPS, to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, somewhere between origin and destination. It was stolen in this essentially cargo theft from UPS. There was a pink colored wool cap, I believe in the back seat.
Did you collect that item?
Yes.
And is this the pink wool cap that you were just discussing?
Yes, and I've looked inside the envelope, which is open, and I can see it's the same pink wool cap.
Did you find any other firearms in the yard that day?
Yes. Approaching this Jeep vehicle on the ground there was this firearm with a drum magazine.
Is the circular item the drum magazine?
Yes.
Is that increase the capacity of rounds that it can hold?
Yes, the drum magazine is a high capacity ammunition magazine that loads rounds or cartridges in a circular motion.
So in the Audi, they found a weapon. I don't know if it matches the shell casings. Oh, wait, they didn't find shell casings. That's what happened, yeah. And the pink beanie he had on in the video in the gas station.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance in 403.
SHARDT walked up for that.
Has nothing to
We may need
with
to
this case.
Your Honor,
that up.
I object to the speaking objections, and I can explain relevance outside
All
the
right.
presence of the jury.
So I would imagine the gun doesn't match anything involving the autopsy of SHYMEL drinks.
There's a set of stairs that leads up, and then there's an open door in the back.
And did you ever go and explore or examine the basement level of this residence?
Yes.
The basement of the home?
Yes.
Was there another stairwell inside of the basement?
There's stairs, yes.
Were you able
What
to
is this house? Is this a trap house or something?
get inside the home from those stairwell?
No. No, it's closed off. It's like wood that's like nailed shut, so it did not permit access from the basement level into the house.
What is this?
Yes, if you walk in the front door, just to the left, there was a television, a large television, a flat panel TV, and yeah, there's some wires hanging down there.
Did you ever find or see any device that normally would be plugged into those when you were searching there at that time?
Yes and no. I did see at least one camera on the front porch that had a light illuminating from it, indicating the camera had power. And I believe these wires to terminate to that camera, because I was essentially trying to follow.
So what they're trying to show the jury is this was a trap house with a whole surveillance system.
This is a plate carrier vest. It's a bit like the tactical vest I wear when I'm in uniform for APD. It has an insert inside of it. When you purchase it, it typically doesn't have an insert, but it's made to have an insert that's body armor. I'd say bullet-resistant vests that we wear for law enforcement and that military often wears. It was hard. Body armor that I have for my Atlanta police uniform is soft and flexible. This one was extremely heavy and hard, which would indicate to me it's a different level of body armor than the one that I wear for APD.
These boys had better body armor than the damn police. Playing Warzone out here.
And did you find anything up in the attic?
Yes.
What did you find?
There was a bucket full of ammunition of various calibers. That's the bucket of ammunition that was recovered from the attic. And the 5.56 are the green tip ammunition, much like the ones that were loaded into that stolen rifle had green tips as well. Ammunition box, when ammunition is sold in large quantities, it often will come in a large box, and it's labeled 9mm Luger. And an ammunition loader, which is used to quickly reload magazines with ammunition.
There's more. Keep going, Detective Lindbergh. What else is inside?
Another box of 223 ammunition, plastic sandwich bags. Another box that's pretty full of 5.56.
Motherfuckers had a damn armory.
5.7 by 28 ammunition. A box for an FN57 pistol magazine. Another box of 5.7 by 28 millimeter ammunition. An evidence bag with test bullets and cartridge cases from laboratory testing of the firearms. A small sack of marijuana. The front of it had a print on it that read slime, and then in quotation marks it read slime. Its adjective is listed below that, and then it says, 1, can't be trusted, a repulsive or despicable person, wipe your effing nose. I'll just say F asterisk asterisk ing. So wipe your effing nose, and then is you slime enough?
Jesus. Is this Miles Farley's merch? Can't be trusted, a repulsive or despicable person. This is tainting the jury, man.
This is a portion of the front yard near those Herbie Kirby cans where I recovered 2 cartridge cases of different caliber.
Package those items or help them get transported back to APD.
I did. I packaged them and then photographed the packaging, which I referenced earlier.
All right, Max Shard up for cross with Liam Packer. He's going to try to obviously shit on this guy's investigation.
So let me get this clear. You extracted information from several phones, including my client's phones.
This detective needed to buy his wife a gift from uncommongoods.com/CUFBOYS. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here and buying gifts for your loved ones can be extremely stressful. Uncommon Goods has hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list. And I'm talking really unique, one-of-a-kind gifts that no one else is going to be able to get anywhere else. They literally scour the globe for handmade, remarkable items. And when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting small, independent artists. And many of the products you see are made in small batches, so if you see something you like, I would suggest doing it now, boys. Uncommon Goods specifically looks for high-quality, handmade products in the United States. They have literally anything you can think of, from die-hard sports fans to book lovers and to kids. I mean, an MLB game-used baseball bat bottle opener. If you know someone that likes baseball, that's so sick. And a hand-carved heart serving spoon. They literally have something for everyone. And for every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they donate $1 to a nonprofit of your choice. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/CUFBOYS. That's uncommongoods.com/CUFBOYS for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Back to the video, boys.
But you did not review any of the downloaded information.
That's correct.
Okay, do you know who reviewed the downloaded information?
I provided all of the extractions to investigator Marissa Viverito, who I believe conducted thorough reviews of the data. But yes, over the past several years, I've been working a lot with mobile device forensics.
Now, as a homicide investigator, if you see a search in a phone, you would want to know when that search was made, correct?
Yes.
Remember, this is about state says Shannon was searching up the SHYMEL drinks murder 3 days after. But apparently, there's not much evidence that he actually searched it himself. It could have been sent to him.
When a search shows up with keywords, it could be someone clicking on a link sent by someone else, right?
Yes.
It could be someone searching in their phone themselves, correct?
Yes.
And it could be someone else utilizing a device, right? Just because it's someone's device doesn't mean they were the ones utilizing it at that time, correct?
Yes, I wouldn't count that as a third option, because as a forensic examiner, I'd only be concerned about what the phone did. So no matter who's holding the phone when it did what it did, it's only one of the two, right? The phone navigated to a URL that resulted in search results from, say, Google, regardless of who's holding it.
Okay, now with all those qualifiers aside, as an investigator, if you saw search results in a phone of a person of interest, you would want to know what date that search was allegedly done, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You would want to know, if you were investigating a case with such a cell phone, you would want to know if on that date of that search, other people had already alerted the owner of the phone of the fact that something had occurred at an address, correct?
I would take that into consideration in my examination of the results, yes.
So, for instance, if the search was homicide or shooting, Smith Street X Bell Street, corner of Smith and Bell, you would want to know if the person is just searching that by themselves with no prompting, or if someone else has already alerted them to a fact that a shooting had occurred at that address. That would be an important fact to know as an investigator, wouldn't
It
it?
would be an important consideration in how I reviewed the data, yes.
Okay, and you'd also want to know, if the person searched these terms, hours after an event or days after an event, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you'd want to know if there was press coverage about this event prior to the person searching.
Objection, Your Honor. Press conference relevance.
Press coverage.
Overruled.
Yes.
There's a difference between someone, a suspect, searching unknown keywords that no one else would know except them, versus searching keywords after there's been media coverage, correct?
That's difficult for me to answer in the hypothetical, because oftentimes as an investigator, conducting this type of search of a forensic analysis of a phone, I don't know what someone knows about the incident or how many people know it, especially if it's an incident that I suspect multiple people were involved in.
Well, what if in that phone there was actual messages from other people alerting that person to the event? Would that give you insight as to whether they knew about the event?
The person conducting the search?
Yes. If other people had told them, texted them, sent them news articles in their phone.
Yes and no. Yes, and that it would give me insight that there's evidence in the phone of the person operating the phone likely receiving information in that text message that, hey, this incident occurred.
I don't understand. Searching a news clip to me is not evidence. It's a public news clip. I don't understand.
Did ATL Scoop have updates being sent throughout Atlanta within hours of the shooting?
I don't know.
Okay, well, he said he doesn't know anyway.
If you know.
I don't know. I honestly know very little about this case, other than I worked next to the detective that was the lead detective, Al Hogan.
Oh, now suddenly you know very little. He was questioned for like an hour and a half, 2 hours by the state. Now suddenly he don't know anything? Come on, bro.
My client's girlfriend reached out to him within hours of the shooting just to check if he was okay and alerted him about the shooting.
Objection, Your Honor. Lack of foundation in facts.
Sustained.
Do you know if my client's grandmother Did the same.
Sustained.
Okay, so you didn't review the phone, so you don't know any of these answers that could add context to any searches.
From the phone or my knowledge of just being in the homicide unit next to the lead detective, no, I still don't know the answer.
Okay, great.
Pointing out stuff he doesn't know and didn't look into.
I don't know very many case details about the other shooting, but it is my understanding that yes, there was another shooting that was just before this incident.
And you observed holes in the house, you observed holes in vehicles that were parked in the yard, etc., correct?
Yes.
All right. Do you know how many people frequent that address, were frequenting that address in March of 2022?
No, any evidence of that would have been on that video surveillance system that was no longer present when I executed the search warrant.
Do you know of who the registered owner of that address is?
No.
Casting doubt on all of that being Shannon's there. It's probably tons of people going in and out.
You are aware that on March 17th, around the same time that you were conducting the search warrant at 2830 Waters Road, my client was being arrested at Meadowlark Drive in a white Audi with Maryland plates with tinted windows. You're aware of that?
No.
Okay.
If I was back then, I don't have any recollection of it now because I wasn't involved in that investigation.
All right. Well, I want to be very clear about a few things. 318. Okay, we see a blue car, correct?
You talking about the vehicle that's here?
Yes.
Oh wait, that's not the Audi? Oh my god, why did I think that was the Audi he was driving earlier? I'm an idiot. Which car is the Audi that they say was in the murder? The white one, right? So that's not the right car. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. It's a different Audi. I'm just now realizing, boys. I'm sure they're trying to do this on purpose to confuse the jury. It confused me.
You are not suggesting that this is the white Audi with tinted windows that was rented to Shannon Stillwell, are you?
I have no idea. I don't know anything about that. Okay.
Why did they do that? That was on purpose to confuse people, bro. I mean, I remember it being white, but I was like, oh, it does look kind of like bluish gray.
You see that pink hat? And I think there's a better picture somewhere in here, but we're talking, and you have it in front
Yes,
of you.
it's right here.
Okay, that pink hat that's in that envelope. You aware that Mr. Stillwell was arrested on the same day in the white Audi wearing a pink hat?
No.
Okay. This pink hat
So it's a different pink hat, too. Bro, why were they trying to confuse us?
took from the scene and then somehow met up with Shannon Stillwell and gave it to him to wear for when he would be arrested, is it?
No.
Okay, so this is a completely separate pink hat. Isn't that correct?
I don't know when Mr. Stillwell was arrested or what the circumstances were, what time that was, if it was before or after the execution of this warrant. If I accept what you're telling me as fact, then sure, he was arrested before the pink hat, but I don't know. I just know that this hat was recovered in this car on March 17th. I put it in this envelope, sealed it, and put my initials on it, and that's the last time I saw it before today.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that answers the question. In this car, also found a gun, a very large gun, and that's what's in front of you on that table, correct?
That's why he said this has nothing to do with this, and he objected earlier to 403.
Yes, sir.
What
Well,
kind of
no, that's the gun that went back to the ATF.
You're right.
The stolen firearm.
Do you have any evidence that Mr. Stillwell's fingerprints are on that gun?
I don't physically have any evidence of that. I believe the gun was taken by the crime scene technicians for additional processing.
Do you have any evidence that Mr. Stillwell's DNA is on that gun?
Not me. No, I believe the guns were processed for additional evidence, but to what extent and what those results are, I don't know. I don't have that evidence.
So you don't have any evidence that Mr. Stillwell has ever touched this gun?
No, I don't. No.
All right.
The state is like being so shady, trying to confuse people. I'm going to be honest.
Well, let me ask you this. Does this gun shoot 40 caliber ammunition?
No.
All right. Excellent.
Trying to confuse us, showing a gun. Like, what are they doing? Are they just terrible at their job, or is this on purpose?
Again, I'm going to ask you any DNA or fingerprints that you're aware of that link to Shannon Stillwell?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. How about that Jeep Liberty? Are you aware of any links that would link or connect Mr. Stillwell to that Jeep Liberty?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Any DNA or fingerprints that you're aware of that link this gun to Shannon Stillwell?
I have no knowledge of that.
Okay. And what type of gun is this?
This is a Taurus G3 9mm pistol.
9mm.
Yes.
Does this gun shoot 40 caliber bullets?
No.
I mean, he's just doing a really good job at separating his client from everything they just showed us for 2 hours. Think about that.
Did you ever get a chance to review the surveillance video from the FedEx on Windsor Street?
I don't want to misspeak and say that I never saw it because I know, again, Al Hogan sat 2 seats in front of me. It's possible at one point I saw it on his screen, but I have no recollection of ever seeing that video.
Did you ever speak to any FedEx employees and ask them to just describe what they saw on the video? Okay. All right. Thank you. I have no further questions.
It was more common to not find the firearm used in the offense. I have recovered weapons used in homicides, but I'd say it's far less common.
Do you know why that is?
Sustained.
If the judge didn't sustain that, I would have been pissed. They're basically just trying to tell the jury that Shannon hid a murder weapon when they don't have any evidence of that.
Said if you had a suspect that said they had no involvement and were not there, you think that's important?
Yes.
What about a suspect that says, I have no involvement, but yes, I was there. I was there. What if you have him on tape at a BP, crystal clear, wearing distinctive clothes, and he's not denying he's there? Would you make sure that you watch the surveillance video of the killing pretty darn carefully?
Yes, among other things, given that assertion made by that person, there's additional things that I would do as well.
You wouldn't just ask someone that works for a business with no law enforcement training, hey, tell me what seems to be going on your videotape that you have, would you? You would want to watch it for yourself, wouldn't you?
Yes.
You'd want to watch it several times for yourself, wouldn't you?
Probably yes.
You'd want to look for details that are important in that videotape, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Just destroyed him. Because Shannon's not denying he was there, but Max is hinting that they arrested the wrong guy and didn't really look into the footage before. They took a FedEx employee's word. And this guy never even looked at the footage, which is crazy. Casting doubt on their entire investigation, clearly.
As a condition of bond, they're required to wear an ankle monitor.
Hang on just a second.
Ankle monitor. Did Shannon have an ankle monitor? So they have Shannon Jackson's ankle monitor shit right here.
The first two columns are the person wearing the device's first and last name. The third column, column C, the events. That is any events that is logged by the device, including when the service was complete, anytime the location failed or communication failure occurred, battery critical events, low battery. At March 15th at 12:07 a.m., it was a potential dead battery event.
Now I'm going to scroll up 2 rows and ask you about the next input. So after that 12:07, March 15th, potential dead battery, what is the next event detail?
So the next two events at 12:07 and 12:11 a.m. on March 15th were communication failure and location failure when the device, the system realized the device had no longer been communicating or providing location data.
Are they hinting that Shannon intentionally let his ankle monitor die so the location wouldn't be in there?
That the device is no longer communicating because the battery has died. Obviously, the device can't communicate that it's dead, can't phone home with a dead battery.
Wait, hold on. So for 2 days, his shit was off?
It says 3,331 cells found.
So I'm not going to ask you to do this math, but is that 3,011 minutes at that address?
Jesus Christ. So they have him tracked at the airport getting the car rental, and they also have him tracked at Waters Road, the trap house. So they have him tracked getting his windows tinted as well.
So the last data point on March 14th, 2022 was at 11 p.m. at 600 Interchange Drive. And then the following data point was almost 48 hours later, March 16th at 10 p.m.
So for 2 days, his ankle monitor was not logging the location. It's definitely suspect for sure, but why wouldn't they come after him? Isn't that how ankle monitors work? At least they do that in the movies. All right, Max Cross on this ankle monitor guy.
Someone wearing one of your ankle monitors would know what it's doing, know the data that it collects, and know that you will be getting, be recipient of that data, correct?
Typically, yes, sir.
Okay. The person wearing the monitor knows they're being monitored.
Yes, sir.
All right. How would I charge my ankle monitor?
So there's a proprietary charging cable that is issued to the person when they get the ankle monitor. It's standard, plug one into the wall, and the other end attaches to the monitor.
To charge my ankle monitor, I would have to plug it into the wall, plug the charger into the wall, typical outlet, I'm assuming, in the house?
Yes, sir.
All right, and then plug it into my monitor to charge it, but the monitor stays on my leg.
Right, yes, sir.
Okay. So when we say you got to plug it in for 2 hours, typically what we're saying is you got to be still for 2 hours while your leg has a device on it that's connected to the wall.
Right, yes, sir.
10:28 p.m., battery critical, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 2:48 a.m. on February 2nd of 2022, location failure, correct?
Correct, yes, sir.
The battery's dead, correct?
At some point prior to that, it would be dead, yes, sir.
Okay. 2:50 a.m., potential dead battery on February 2nd.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it's not plugged in until 10:50 a.m. on February 2nd, says AC plug-in, correct?
Right, yes, sir.
All right, let's go to February 4th.
So he's trying to show that there was more events of the low battery. It wasn't just those times around the murder.
On that particular instance, the charger stayed uncharged or dead for some time, correct?
Correct, March 25th February 25th through March 3rd.
Okay.
8 days? It was not charged at one point?
So we're talking about 7 days.
Yes, sir.
Not his first one.
Correct, no,
Not
sir.
his only one.
No, sir.
All right. March 14th at 10 p.m., it was working, right?
March 14th at 10 p.m.? I think, yes, sir, yeah, it was.
Right. It's that monitor that he was wearing that allows you to put him on Windsor Street, correct?
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay, so we're talking about dead batteries. March 10th, 10 p.m., the battery was still working.
March 10th at 10 p.m.?
Excuse me, March 14th, 10 p.m.
March 14th, 10, yes, sir.
Still working.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah, so why isn't he tracked there then? If it was still working at that time around the murder. Great point from Max.
And this is in the stop report, 600 Interchange Drive, Southwest.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the state asked you to Google those addresses to figure out what's there, correct?
Correct.
Do you know if there is, in fact, a recording studio at that location?
I do not.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Charging your monitor is like charging a cell phone.
Like I said, that's the analogy we use. You have to charge a phone, you have to charge a monitor.
Right. I mean, that's fine as an analogy, but okay. Do you connect your cell phone to your body when you're charging it?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have a car charger and a travel charger for your cell phone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And about these alerts, you never received a device tamper alert. Bottom line is you never received a device tamper alert for Mr. Stillwell with his
No,
ankle.
sir.
I don't know why Atkins kept bringing up tampering alerts when that never happened. Like, what's going on?
Received a strap tamper alert.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
It's a waste of time.
Aggravated assault, homicides, robberies, entering auto thefts. And we basically go out and investigate those crimes and add gang charges if applicable. So we document, we interview witnesses, victims, interview suspects. So I was hungry, so I went to Chick-fil-A off of Cleveland Avenue. I was going to order some food, and while I was in the drive-thru, the vehicle drove through.
What are the odds of that? The guy is signed to find the Audi, goes to Chick-fil-A, and then Shannon and Quay are going to Chick-fil-A too.
It took a long time for the food to come, so I guess they got the food. So it took like maybe 20 minutes, and then I guess they pulled out, and then I advised them responding units the direction of travel.
Mr. Stillwell, on March 17th?
I drove to the area, but I did not participate because I was undercover, so I did not do anything to apprehend him.
Other than when you were getting lunch,
yes.
When you actually found the car, that day earlier, you were looking for Mr. Stillwell because there was an arrest warrant for him.
I was looking for the vehicle, per se.
Okay. You were looking for a particular vehicle. That information had been given you emanating from Detective Hogan to be on the lookout for this vehicle, so an arrest could be made. Is that fair to say?
No, sir. So my supervisor just gave me a bolo with a vehicle with a tag description that said, hey, this vehicle was involved in a homicide. It should be around the Cleveland area, and look for it.
In your experience, sometimes when you're looking for vehicles for law enforcement purposes, people ditch the vehicles or hide the vehicles or put them in a garage or put them up, correct?
That's a fair statement.
Okay. Get a wrap. You know what a wrap is? Like a paint job?
Yes.
A wrap or a paint job on a vehicle to change the appearance of the vehicle.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Other times, people might get a different license tag number and take off the tag that they normally have on the vehicle and put on a different tag number, right?
Yes.
All to throw you off because they know that you're looking for them, or they believe that you're looking for them.
Yes.
So trying to show the jury again that Shannon wasn't doing everything people typically do when they're trying to evade police because he has nothing to hide and he's innocent.
Was the Audi in fact still white?
Yes.
Did it in fact still have Maryland tags?
Yes.
Did it in fact still have the same license number as you were given as part of the bolo?
Everybody came to the location and verified it was correct when I gave it over the radio.
Okay.
So now we're seeing video from the helicopter of the Audi up here. So it's definitely not a high-speed situation when the police even get behind them either. Like, he's not going fast, and he just drives to a house.
Driver is he got two running. Driver has a maroon colored beanie on, black jacket, blue jeans. They're both running northbound behind 2481 Meadow Lark Drive.
So they run in this backyard. Remember, I'm pretty sure that's where they say a goat sacrifice was happening. Some religious thing or something, I think.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe your voice can be heard saying that you saw someone throw something in the bushes or throw a bag in the bushes.
Correct.
At this point, and you have the vantage point, you're the eye in the sky at this point, correct?
Yes.
And even though you're in a helicopter, which would be scary to me, you're able to look down on the ground and see what's going on as you're in a helicopter, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I could not do that job, bro. I'm terrified of heights. Ain't no way. My hands are sweating just thinking about that.
The man in the pink beanie, get out the driver's side, correct?
Yes.
Get out the white Audi with tinted windows.
Correct.
All right. And then you see another gentleman get out the passenger side.
Yes.
You were able to see who had the book bag, correct?
Yes.
Was it the driver or the passenger?
Passenger.
Okay. And it's the passenger that you saw discard the book bag into the bushes, correct?
Yes.
All right. Or from the Fulton County District Attorney's Office?
Yes, Fulton County DA.
Okay. They gave those to you on January 17, 2023.
Correct.
And it was 11 of them?
Yes.
Okay. And then you're also given a firearm, a 5.7 by 28 firearm, correct?
Yes.
FN. And you're given those by the district attorney on December 15, 2022.
Correct.
Okay. And then additionally, you're given 19 unspent rounds.
Yes.
Okay. So your work on this case, you got 11 spent rounds that were collected. Your Honor, I think we have a stipulation.
Okay. You're right. We're going to stipulate that the shell casings referenced in her report come from the March 16, 2022 shooting at 2830 Waters Road.
So remember when the house that Shannon was at got shot at, and then they took a picture of him in the back of the car with the pink beanie on, that talking about that situation.
And you determined that the FN firearm, the 5.7, that you were given was the firearm, to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty, was the firearm that fired those shell casings that were collected and provided to you by the Fulton County District Attorney's Office.
Yes, it was the firearm that.
Okay, perfect.
So she found a match with certain bullets to a firearm that the state gave her of Shannon being a target, I believe.
Those two projectiles that you were comparing to each other, isn't it true that they were both 40 caliber bullets?
Yes.
And then you were asked to compare them, and you determined that those two fully 40 caliber bullets were shot by the same handgun.
Yes.
And that handgun was consistent. Your report says consistent with being shot by a Glock 40 handgun.
Correct.
So the gun that killed SHYMEL Drinks is a Glock 40 handgun. All right, Shannon Stillwell's ex-girlfriend. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay. All right now. Talk that talk. All right.
So apparently she just said, I'm the prettiest girl he had. The audio wasn't cutting in yet.
Have you known, you said you was one of the prettiest girls he ever had. All right. So does that mean y'all used to date?
Yes.
Okay. When did you all date?
Since 2021.
Her lawyer also tweeted that they tried to plead the fifth, but the state granted her immunity, which basically forced her to have to testify here.
Are you all still dating now? Just yes or no?
I don't know.
Okay.
What you mean you don't know?
Do you own guns?
Yes.
How many guns have you owned? Or do you own currently?
Probably like 7, 6, I think.
Specifically, I want to ask you, have you ever owned an FN57 pistol?
Yes.
Do you remember when did you purchase that gun?
I just also want to point out this video went viral weeks ago, and apparently it's her in this video. What are the odds of this? A random viral video. Because in this video, someone attacks her in an apartment building and she shoots back. There she is with the red hair. A friend who has a gun, I think. There she is. These two girls up here come to probably rob her or beat her up or kill her. And they regret doing this in a second. That's this girl.
And does this look like the gun that you purchased?
Yes, ma'am.
Back in March of 2022, did you allow Shannon to use that gun?
No.
Did you ever give that gun to Shannon?
No.
Were you aware that he had possession of that gun?
No.
Do you know someone by the name of Demekion Garlington?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you know Demekion Garlington?
He dated my friend.
Okay. Do you know if he is a friend of Mr. Jackson?
Yes, ma'am.
Or Mr. Stillwell? Have you ever spoken to Demekion Garlington on his cellular phone?
Yes.
Have you ever spoken with Mr. Demekion Garlington in March of 2022 about you giving Mr. Stillwell that handgun?
I don't know.
Did you ever go to an Alamo rental car facility at the airport with Shannon to rent a vehicle?
Yes.
And who was the renter of the vehicle?
It was me, but we had to switch it because I don't have a credit card, so.
So did Shannon rent the vehicle?
Yes.
All right. First, looking at 188 VV, is that you inside that vehicle?
It looked like me.
And what type of car did y'all rent in March of 2022?
I don't know.
Do you remember renting a white Audi vehicle?
I didn't rent it.
Okay. Do you remember being with Mr. Stillwell Jackson when he rented the white Audi vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And looking at this picture, 188 VV, does the car appear to have any tint on the vehicle at this time?
Probably. I don't know. I don't know. It looked like it on the back.
Are you able to see inside of the car through the glass?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Yes, ma'am.
And is that Mr. Stillwell Jackson sitting next to you in the passenger seat?
Yes, ma'am.
How long were you staying in the hotel?
We were staying in a hotel since March 9th.
March 9th. Why were you staying in a hotel since March 9th of 2022?
Because these girls tried to rob me.
So that's the video we were talking about.
Did you call him Jackson or Stillwell?
Both.
Okay. Does he have a nickname?
Bae.
Oh, that's okay. That's your nickname. All right. That's fair. That's fair.
Bae.
I'm not trying to embarrass you. Okay.
Okay.
In your relationship with Shannon from 2021 to when he was arrested, were there issues, thank you, with infidelity?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. My mom messed up. Yes, sir.
Okay.
2 times.
You said 2 times? Had you gone through his phone?
Yes.
It's always how it happens, isn't it?
His phone, you were looking for other women that he was messing with, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did he openly let you look at his phone? Or was he protective of his phone?
He wasn't there when I looked in it.
Okay.
So he gave me the password.
Let me ask you this. When he was arrested on March 17, 2022, did you have interest in looking at his phone to see what he had going on?
Oh, did I want to?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Ms. Alexander, at that time, you were working in a cash industry, correct? And by that, I mean you would get paid in cash, and you would tend to have cash on you, correct?
I dance.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So at that time, you were a dancer? Okay.
He was trying to be nice, not trying to point out she was stripping.
And that robbery happened at night, correct?
Yes, sir.
Shannon wasn't with you when you got robbed?
No.
Okay. And this robbery...
I didn't get robbed. They tried to rob me.
They tried to rob you. I'm sorry. They did try to rob you. And this attempted robbery, this is all on video, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And people hid out and waited for you to walk down a hallway, and then they charged you with weapons, correct?
They charged me? They charged at me?
Yeah, they charged at you.
Yes.
Okay. And because you were being robbed, you...
Shot him.
Shot at them?
Shot her.
Oh, you shot her. Okay. All right. Now, ultimately, the people that were trying to rob you on that video were charged, correct?
Yes, sir.
By the police?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you were never charged because you were acting in self-defense.
Yeah, I didn't get charged.
Okay. But on March 9th of 2022, after someone tried to rob you and take your money from you, you became concerned for your safety, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
You became concerned that people were looking out for you, correct?
Yeah, clearly.
You were concerned that people were going to try to, for some reason, get revenge on you even though all you were doing was defending yourself.
So you're just putting more doubt in the fact that Shannon rented this car to fucking hunt people and kill people. It's also for them to hide in it. And they were at hotels and shit.
Beginning on March 9th, 2022, you started having concerns about people being able to know what kind of car you were driving, correct?
Dude, if this is me, like, I'm sorry, I'm leaving. Like, if I have friends and family, I'm gone. I'm moving to another state. Sorry. Like, this place is too sketchy for me. I know it's not possible for a lot of people because it takes money to do that, but...
Yes.
And that was all stemming from the March 9th, 2022 incident, correct?
Yes, sir.
You certainly let Shannon know about what happened, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you decided, even though you had a Scat Pack Charger, that's a fancy car, right?
Yeah.
Even though and that Scat Pack Charger had tinted windows, did it not?
The worst tint you could get.
The darkest tint you could get.
Yeah.
Okay, but even though you had that Scat Pack Charger with the tinted windows, you decided that you needed to get a rental, correct?
Yeah.
And that was to switch it up in case someone from the March 9th incident was coming to harm you.
Yes, sir.
All right. And that's also why you got a hotel room, correct?
Yeah.
Around this time, actually a couple days later, Shannon also got a rental, correct?
Oh, yes, sir.
And he walked right into the store with you, and you guys dealt with the cashier, and he gave over his ID and his payment, correct?
Yes.
Even to this day, you've continued to get that car wrapped, correct?
Every 3 months.
Every 3 months you get the car wrapped. What is wrapping a car?
The car color orange, but I keep switching it up.
Okay.
Keep getting a different color.
Seems very expensive, right?
Switching the colors of your car that you own.
Yeah.
Just to keep yourself safe.
Yes, sir.
And you got those windows tinted to keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me ask you about tint. You've gotten tint on cars before.
Every car I get.
Okay. When you go and get tint, and when they install the tint, do they tell you not to roll down your window for 24 to 48 hours?
Yes.
Okay. And if you roll down your window within that time, it can cause the tint to be damaged or bubble up, correct?
Yes.
Wait. The state says he shot him from inside the car with the window down. Wait. That is such a good point.
So if you were to get tint on, say, March 14th of 2022, that tint, those windows are not to be rolled down in order to protect the tint, correct?
Yes.
And if they are rolled down, you could see bubbling in the tint, correct?
Yes, sir.
One last thing, Ms. Alexander, and I appreciate you being here. I'm going to take you back to March 14th of 2022, reaching out to Shannon to tell him about news that you had learned about a shooting in Mechanicsville.
Yes.
Okay. And did you reach out to tell Mr. Stillwell about that shooting, or did Mr. Stillwell reach out to tell you about that shooting?
I told him.
Okay.
On his girl page, she was riding past.
Okay. So
But it was on Instagram.
I understand your answer as a girl that you know was riding past Windsor Street and saw the police out there?
Yeah, it was police out there.
Okay. And then this person reached out or put on Instagram.
Yeah, and then it was, yeah.
By the early morning hours of March 15th, it was not a secret that a shooting had occurred on Windsor Street, was it?
No, it was all over Instagram.
Okay. And you were concerned about Shannon's safety, correct?
Yeah.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
All right, let's see what Miss Hilton tries to do here at the end.
The cars that you get, you tint all of your cars, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Are those your personal vehicles?
Yeah.
Okay. Not your rental vehicles?
No.
Now, Mr. Sharp asked you about notifying Mr. Stillwell about the shooting in Mechanicsville on March 14th, or the early morning hours on March 15th. Do you remember him asking you about that?
Yeah.
Okay. When you spoke with Mr. Stillwell, did he ever tell you that he was in the Mechanicsville area around 10 o'clock p.m. that night?
I don't remember that.
Did he ever tell you that that night he was at the BP gas station at around 10 o'clock p.m., the BP gas station in Mechanicsville?
No.
When you spoke to Mr. Stillwell that morning, in the early morning hours, do you know where he was?
Studio.
Do you know where the studio is?
No.
All right. Mr. Sharp asked you about when you get tinted windows, you can't roll down the windows. Do you remember him asking you that?
Yes.
Does that prevent you from opening up the door?
No. No.
So you can still open up the door even though you have tints on the window?
Yeah.
Wait, I thought they said earlier in other days that he shot from inside the vehicle. There's no shell casings. They found no shell casings. So what are they? Did Miss Hilton just contradict their whole theory? So what's their fucking theory then? Now they're saying he opened the door? I'm so lost.
You indicated, I think, that Mr. Stillwell was in the studio in the early morning hours of March 15th, 2022, correct?
That's like 2, 3 in the morning?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And in your experience dating Mr. Stillwell was trying
On the video at that traffic light, you don't see no door open.
to start a rap career. Isn't that fair?
He was making a song about me.
He was making songs about you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure they were lovely. So how many days a week or nights a week would you say
Every day.
he was in the studio?
Every day.
Okay. All right. Thank you. No further questions.
All right. Thank you for your time, Miss Alexander.
He was making songs about me. So apparently, I don't know if this is true, and I was questioning putting this out to my audience because I have such a big audience, but apparently there's a rumor that Kayla Bumpus, Woody's temporary lawyer, married Shannon Stillwell in jail, like over Zoom. because apparently there's a marriage certificate. I don't know if this is true, but I've been seeing that everywhere. So she might be taking some shots at Kayla Bumpus throughout the day. Why did Miss Hilton say open the door? I thought they said they shot from within the car. That's why there was no shell casings. Which one is it? Comment down below what you guys think. Hit subscribe, join channel membership. Love you guys. Peace out.
Diamonds and diamonds.